Who wants to bother with Team Canada when you can just call your fellow members of Parliament Nazi sympathizers? Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Remember that we've been hearing for the last year or so, in the face of Donald Trump threatening to change the trading relationship, to bring in tariffs, that we need a Team Canada approach. We need everybody working together. And yet we've got Liberals mocking Jamil Jivani for trying to go to Washington, for going to Washington, setting up meetings with some of the highest level officials. And we've even got one Liberal MP calling Javanni a Nazi sympathizer. I wish I was making this up. I wish the idiot that did this wasn't from my hometown of Hamilton, but John Paul Danko seriously embarrassed himself, his party, and his community. Last Friday, while Jamil Jivani was in Washington, here's what John Paul Danko, Liberal MP from Hamilton West, Ancaster Dundas, had to say in the House of Commons.
Because there are very serious issues facing Canada at the moment, which have intensified since the last election. A U.S. hostile government, deliberate destruction of global allegiances, and the stability that our country has relied on. We have a Conservative Party of Canada's own Unity Mitford, who is attempting to freelance negotiations with the American president right now.
Now, if you don't know, Unity Milford was a British socialite in the 1930s and 40s. She became enamored with Adolf Hitler, even spending a lot of time in Germany, and some say that she probably is the English-speaking person who spent the most time with Adolf Hitler. She was a full-blown Nazi. Came from British, well, semi-aristocracy, an embarrassment to her family, but she was someone who was well known as a sympathizer with the Nazis and tried to convince other Britons to be the same. Calling Jamil Jivani a Nazi sympathizer for going to Washington to try and score a deal with the Americans is beyond the pale. It is disgusting. Mark Carney's gone to Washington to try and score a deal, to try and get tariff relief with Donald Trump. Does that make Mark Carney a Nazi? Dominic LeBlanc, the senior cabinet minister on this file, he's gone to Washington time and time again to meet with American officials. Does that make him a Nazi or a Nazi sympathizer? And by the way, John Paul Danko, do you realize that you've called Donald Trump a Nazi by doing this? I don't care what you think of the American president. He is not Adolf Hitler. He is not a Nazi. And for an elected official to refer to him as such, especially in the middle of, very sensitive trade negotiations, is an idiotic move. You have embarrassed yourself, as I said earlier, yourself, your party, and your community. You need to apologize. Now, what was Jamil Jivani really doing down there? He was trying to use his connection with J.D. Vance to have some meetings, to make Canada's case. He went to law school with J.D. Vance. They became very good friends. Javanni was at Vance's wedding. I believe he even did a reading at it, if memory serves correct. So he went down to Washington, and by the way, they've kept in touch. They did very well in their fantasy playoff team this year, Javanni was telling me at the Conservative Convention. But he used his connection with J.D. Vance to open doors. Politics is all about people and connections and finding a way to use that to move your agenda forward. So that's what Javanni was doing. He met with Vance. He met with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. He met with senators and members of Congress. He even met with Donald Trump. And he pressed Canada's case, and he listened to what they had to say. Then he came back and reported back to Dominic LeBlanc. Javanni had offered to do this in conjunction with the Liberal government. He offered their services, his services, to them. They rejected it. Mark Carney dismissed this as a publicity stunt by Javanni. He mocked him, saying, I don't think he's even the trade critic, never mind the prime minister. Melanie Joly, the industry minister, kept claiming that Javanni's never raised the issue of layoffs at the GM plant in Oshawa that impacts his riding. It's patently false, but she made the claim again and again. The Liberals missed a real opportunity here. They had someone from another party with a serious connection to the White House willing to say, let me go down with you. Let's see if we can smooth things over. Let's work together. Let's be Team Canada. And they rejected that because they don't truly believe in a Team Canada approach unless you are one of their team. It's a Team Liberal, not a Team Canada approach that they're interested in. Not only does John Paul Danko owe Jamil Jivani an apology, so does Mark Carney and his entire team. Shame on them. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.